How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us today for another Rolling Over the Hill right here on the Live to Roll channel. And thanks to all of you for being part of the Live to Roll family. Before we get started, let's thank our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals. They are very good at what they do, and that is providing the best in a variety of durable and medical equipment and urology supplies, along with excellent customer service. So if you are in need of a wheelchair, rehab equipment, or catheters, give them a call or check them out online. On today's show, we'll discuss changes we are likely to experience in health and abilities as we get older as SCIs. Make sure to include your questions, comments, and views in the chat, and don't forget to hit that like button. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Soto. I'm a T12 spinal cord injury motorcycle racing accident back 52 years ago. So let's get started and welcome my co-host, Paul, Chad, and Bobby. What's up, Chad?
Hello, everyone. Here, I'm Chad Stewart, C56 quadriplegic, and I was involved in a diving accident 30 years ago. And yeah, it's nice to be here. I look forward to the topic today. We're getting old. Actually, I'm not getting old. I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it's good to see you guys. What's up, Paul?
Hey, good to be here tonight, guys. C56 quad here, coming from Saskatchewan, Canada. Been hurt since '84, however many years that is. I think this is going to be a good topic tonight. We're all going through it, except Chad. I'm gonna try to tag on to Chad. I like the way he's going.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Bobby? I know you got a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Uh, I don't know. I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. Uh, my pops, for anybody out there, we only have a couple watchers right now, listeners. But for those in the future that watch this on Saturday, after struggling many years with dementia and Alzheimer's, my dad finally lost his battle and passed away peacefully in his sleep, um, in his bed, not his own bed, but in a place that I'd rather see him pass away than a hospital or assisted living. So glad he's not paying anymore. And other than that, just going through the changes now of both parents gone and move forward with life. I got a strong brother and one that I'm close to. So that's my little short story in a handbag. Other than that, um, when I can shake this off a little bit and some of the shock and the grief, hopefully be back. And, all you know it well. You just went through this,
Yeah,
and in a different manner too. So it's we talk about aging today, and this is part of it.
it is. It is. Lots of love going out to you today, Bobby.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for everybody who has reached out. And my brother put out a post. He's been sending me screenshots because I don't know how to get in my Facebook, and I'm really could care less about trying to figure out how to really do it. I'm sure it's not that hard, um, but thank you for all that have been texting and reaching out. I really appreciate it.
Just
But
so you know,
what's that?
just so you know, Bobby, I am your friend on Facebook. So
Perfect.
if
Now,
you're thinking there, I'm your friend on Facebook.
now I know I got a friend. Cool. Um, but we got something else. Let's brush that off. We came here to listen for resources, help, and for the same reason that we're all here together. I mean, we have a disability or we get hurt and we have an injury, but we need to move on. And but there's a little bit of something that starts happening, and that's aging with a disability, or we're calling it also aging with a spinal cord injury. Um, it goes hand in hand. I don't care what you're thinking about, but uh, this Thursday show was created around, some of that and some of the experience that we go through with aging with a disability. And we haven't really just brought it up that that's what we were talking about today. And our co-host here, Chad, brought it up. So we said, we're going to let him run the show today. It's all yours, Chad. Um, But let's start off with you, Chad. You're the youngster in the house here, in not so many ways though. So, and you brought it up, and we haven't really heard your side. We've heard Robert's side, and we know he's old and
Oh, gee,
antique,
thanks, Ed.
you know, but we haven't really heard yours. So, um, go for
Yeah.
it. That's all yours. The
Well,
floor is
I received these articles um, in my inbox. These articles from there was one from the from TIER. It's a Memorial Hermann Rehabilitation Hospital, in reference to a study they had done on aging, and they got a control group and then a study group together and did this experiment and basically for people injured 45 years or people that were 45 plus years of age and 15 plus years out from their injury and um, yeah they just basically were it was kind of a social type group that got together and they were looking at different issues that we face and in that group as far as aging with the spinal cord injury and um, yeah basically the I don't know the full outcome of the study but it was I think of just aging in general you do become disabled in time. I've watched my parents. We've all watched our elders get older and become disabled. Well, we are disabled going into the aging. So it just basically it adds a little extra spice to it all. Really, the way I look at it. We're still pretty all young here. We're got our spirits up and keep moving along and. But yeah, just basically what I got out of it was as we are getting older with this disability and in our aging process, being aware of where we've been in the past to the point of where we are in time in our disability and some of the changes that we've made and some of the awareness and the things that we've been able to put together that work for us and keep us moving forward in a healthy manner, whether that be regular doctor visits or eating a certain way and eating foods you shouldn't eat or should eat that work for you. Anybody can tell you this is good for you, that's not good for you, but what works for you and how is your system and body working around all that type of things? We have bladders, we have bowels we have to tend to, aging skin, and it's just all the things that we've learned and also being able to communicate with our peer group and our community about pluses and minuses and trip ups that people have had and so yeah that's kind of in a nutshell what I got out of what they found in that study. Yeah, I've been injured for 30 years and I I've been married for I don't know, let's see, 26 of those. Recently going through a divorce, raised two 18-year-olds and it's what it is. Everything kind of, yeah, we have this disability, but we're still living life just like everyone else. And personally, I kind of feel like I'm just in a new chapter of actually a new volume of life. And it's kind of like, my kids are grown. They're fixing to go off and do what they do as adults, as young adults. And I'm going to be, moving forward with as a, as a, as a single individual. It's a spinal cord injured individual at 54 years old, and so yeah, there's some changes, some fright about all that. I do not want to age alone. I mean, my spirit works best personally with others around and being around others and interacting and that type of thing. So, but at this moment and for a little while now, I feel like I can't say I've figured it out. I don't think we ever figure it out, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good place with my health as far as being able to with manage my bladder in a positive way, and it's been staying pretty positive in how I go about it. Same with my bowels, being able to keep that and skin, and those are the three biggies. I am lacking in the area of stretching and moving, more mobility in my shoulders and stuff. And I keep telling you and Bobby and Paul here, I'm going to join that staying driven with you all and get on there and exercise. I will do that. That is one part of my life that
I don't
is
know.
lack.
I don't know. I'm iffy about that. I'm iffy because I think, Paul, how long have we been hearing this?
It's
Throwing
been
you
a
under the
I'm
while.
gonna get in
bus.
there. I'm gonna get in there. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I feel pretty good. I'm feel upbeat and yeah, I wake up my true self, which is ready to get out there and get it done and keep a positive outlook, and that's kind of where I'm at. And when the days don't go well, I think it's important for me. What works for me is to sit there with it, give it space. I mean, these emotions that come up are part of who we are, and give them space and care for these parts of you that come about and need a voice within you. Just sit with that and care for it and be with it. And my vice is going out, walking my dog out in the areas that we have out here and open areas that we have here around here in San Antonio, Texas, on these greenway trails and getting out and just being alive. And so, yeah, I feel pretty balanced at this time. But hell, I always say at this moment, because shit, it could change in a minute. We never know. So yeah, but that's kind of where I'm at with things and how I understand this study. There was another study that we had looked at. I wasn't as familiar with that, but I think from what I briefed over it, it basically had the same outcome as the other. I mean, would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, there was pretty similar results content in both of them. So,
And if I mean
so
y'all want to touch more on that, I've kind of just briefed over it, but yeah, it's kind of I think in a nutshell what I said. But yeah, please talk about it a little more. I don't. Yeah, but that's kind of where I'm at in my space of aging with the spinal cord injury, and um, yeah, but hell, this morning I tell you, this morning I woke up. I had a little bit of. We get real bad allergies here in San Antonio, and I had a lot of phlegm, coughing up, and it's my fear. It's me. It just gets my anxiety up when I can't cough, and when I'm in the bed, I can't cough real well, and sit the bed up, and so um, I had a little anxiety this morning, just that I haven't had in a while. Just the cough that I couldn't get out of my throat, and it's just like shit. It scares you. It definitely humbles you in so many ways. Um,
Yeah,
but
those
so
little things. I think, you said it right. I mean, I think now it's the little things, and Paul and Bob, you guys can kind of contest to this in the sense of, you know, one thing that we know that the body wears down, right? We read things of aging with a disability. What's the number one thing? Everything either decreases or increases, right? That's the biggest word. Decrease, decrease, or increase, increase. So the increase of, more problems with decrease in your skin, meaning it's getting thinner, and then the increase of getting pressure sore, and you're like, crap, here we are in this like weird time of aging, especially after the 20, 30, and then all of a sudden you get that red spot, and it's starting to freak you out. We were in our 20s, that red spot was like,
Whatever.
put a band-aid, put a band-aid here.
Yeah.
Do what your mom did, you know? Are you crying? Are you crying because you're bleeding? God, get over it. Go put a band-aid on it. Um, I totally remember one incident I had, but it was my own duty. She knows what we were doing. We built a stupid ramp outside, and I came in bleeding on the elbows, and my mom did not feel sorry for me. And I think we should, not to say we shouldn't, but we're preparing. You know, we're on this show. We're preparing for these times of aging. Uh, you know, so when they come out of these times of that, oh my gosh, I'm getting more red spots. Oh my gosh, I might have broken a bone easier. Should be really a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
The thing
And
what you can't do, but go ahead.
well, I also think that, I mean, yeah, we need to be more careful. We need to be more conscious, um, on top of things a little more, right? But we also need to have fun and enjoy. The ramp story you just told, Bobby, I had to start laughing because so I'm down there visiting Bobby a couple of years ago, and we got our Baytex out scooting around, and we go to this park, and it's a little bit wet. I don't know if it just rained, but we find some gravel trails, dirt trails, and we're like two 8-year-old kids on little mini bikes. We're ripping through the crap. There's mud flying everywhere, and then we get back to Bobby's place, and Ellen's just like shaking her head and tracking dirt and crap everywhere to get stuff washed off. Then the next day we go out, and when I think we went to the bike shop or something, and there's some busted up sidewalks. Well, that crazy bugger, he says, "Here, I gotta line up." Well, it made a little ramp, so he's on his bike deck, cranks her as fast as he can go to get a jump over this. So he's just
No,
like a
no, no.
little
The beauty
wheelbarrow.
part was we passed that. We passed it, and all of a sudden I stopped. And then Paul stops and he goes, "You saw that, huh?" And I go, "I saw that. Do you not want to go back and try to jump this little ramp?" He goes, "Hell yeah, of course. Let's go back." So we're filming ourselves on video. It looks like nothing. You're like,
But it
see,
felt like we were 8 feet in the air.
yeah. You know, but still, it was like, I mean, even I think on that trip, Paul and I were just goofing off, and Paul, you know, we get up to full speed, and Paul goes, "Oh, look, no hands," and next thing you know, his scooter
Oh,
is
geez.
out of control. How he did not tip and crash and biff, you
I don't
know.
know how to invite it. Full speed. Yeah, the front wheel just. Brrr. I have no idea how I didn't flip that sucker.
Man, I
But
can't believe he took a rant. I can't believe he took a
Oh, it was nuts. If you really look at it, in fact, I wish if we knew this would come up, I would have sent it over to Sean and he could have brought it up because you guys would be looking at me like, you guys were excited on that, really? But it looked,
yeah,
you know, when you're after 30 years, you're in your 50s, and it was just one of those things. But I mean, but I think you know, here's the thing, Robert, you probably can really bring this to light of what Paul said is still enjoy life, still have fun,
yeah.
but learn from your mistakes, learn from, you know, uh, of taking care of your body. Chad said it, you know, they're having some kind of fiesta in his town, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go out here at 7 and go meet up with some buds." And I'm like, "Really? Bedtime?" And, you know, that's our bedtime. But,
Hey,
you know,
hey, I mean,
because
as we know, we make no hard commitments at this age, right?
true.
I
There
don't.
you go. That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
That's it. No commitment.
that's
But
right.
Instead of
I
doing
won't.
stupid things,
Yeah.
instead of doing
but
stupid things at midnight, we do them at
I
like two
agree
o'clock.
with everything that you got. I agree with everything you guys are saying, and I also glanced over these articles, and it's basically, yeah, there's no doubt, enjoy life. You got to enjoy life, and that pretty much is what kind of keeps you driven or drives you through your whole injury life, right? But right now, for me, because I am 72 and I've been in the chair, 52 years, and I know the transition from when you first get from able-bodied injury, you make that transition, and either good or bad for some people, but just you make that transition. So you go on with life after it. So now I think I'm facing another transition, mentally and physically. Uh, with us being spinal cord injuries, our bodies have worked harder. The internal organs are older than our biological age. So for me, I think the decline, and it affects you psychologically, because I compare myself with what I was doing, not as able-bodied, but as younger man, disabled. And so it's funny because now the strength um, is not there, no matter what I do. I mean, thankfully, I'm having problems with my arms and shoulders, but just other things. Put the disability aside, I'm dealing with digestion and things like that. Prostate. There's a bunch of stuff going on that's just the normal part of aging. You throw your spinal cord injury in there after your body's been beaten up and everything all these years. You've been compensating and all that, and so now, you know, you have to do some compensation, but it's hard to compensate when your body, not just from being aging, but just from being beaten up from things that you had to do, the things you had to adapt, and so that affects your confidence, and your confidence is a big piece, because that's a lot of what we need. We need that confidence, so you're not hesitant, or because you don't want to be too cautious, because when you're too careful, sometimes you overcompensate on the carefulness and you screw up or you get hurt or something. So I'm at the point now where psychologically I'm being affected by it, just because I'm kind of disappointed in myself, because there's certain things that I should be able to do, and it's just not there. Yeah, I mean, I get it done, but it's something getting older now. It's like right now with my stomach, I have stomach issues, and you know, and that's something that we all, able-bodied or disability, but it just seems like it's a hassle more so with you sitting in a wheelchair, or can't get out fast enough, or can't get into a certain place or whatever. That's so that you lose confidence in that, and so then the rest of the time you are out there trying to have fun, but you're still in the back of your head about having some type of problem or issue or something. So it's definitely affecting me a little bit more than I thought it would. But the transition, I'm in that transition. I see my decline. I try not to let it affect me, and I try to do better at it. It keeps me driven a little bit more, but I do feel the decline
Well,
at
That's a
72.
psychological piece, huh?
say that
That
again,
psychological
Paul.
piece can really, that psychological piece can really mess with you. I know what you're saying there, Robert. And I think for me, this really helps. Hanging out with you guys, hanging out with peers, having really close friends like you guys, that you can talk about this stuff, and you say, this is what's going on right now, and this is how I'm feeling, and like you say, Robert, it's kind of in the back of your head. I want to go out, but I don't know. I don't want something to
Yeah.
happen, accident, something like that. But having that peer group, I think, is so important. I think it's always important. Spinal cord injury is a lot to go through for anybody at any age. And I'm finding as I get older, the peer group is even more important.
Even that
Yeah.
much
Oh,
more,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I was going to say with our aging, here's, just, and let me get to the chat real quick, because that was also my thought. Roy, congratulations. I know one of the hardest things with aging is change, and Roy's making a big change and getting a power chair. Um, I'm sure that's hard, because it is way different than a manual chair if you've been using it for X amount of years. And it means like just simple things of your home, your
Yeah.
getting into bed. I don't know if anybody
Accessibility.
gets in bed and maybe needs to move their chair just a little bit, or
Mhm.
Chad or Paul. It's for
Yeah.
myself. My caretaker needs to just move it a little bit so she has some room to give me a hand. And um, and my caretaker just recently took care of, helped out Chad when you were down here for the expo. And she's like, oh man, that difference between a power chair and a manual chair next to the bed, it's like this. It was, it was a little eye opener for her. She's just like, yeah. So I know it's not an easy uh, choice to make, Roy, but I'm glad to see you back in our chat. And yeah, good luck with that power chair. I'm sure because of the aging, that's the reason. Uh, and then I think I saw there was another one, and I just kind of I think it was more about we were talking about going to bed, but the one thing trying to Leah said it.
Sunset.
Well,
Bedtime
while you're looking,
sunset.
Yeah, I would say something to Roy too, and that with that power chair, just that's gonna increase your parameter, and so enjoy it. Get out. I ride mine probably 4 to 5 days out of the week, just depending on what's going on. I go back to the manual. I like to keep it. I like to keep hold of the manual at least 2 to 3 days a week, just for my own health, but or shoulders and yeah, but yeah, enjoy the go on it, and hell with the rest of them. Just do the best you can with it, and don't be. So, I try not to be too mental about it, and just being in a power
Yeah.
chair to hell with them. I'm able to get around a little bit more, and go
Just
out a
making
little
things
bit farther.
just making things easier for you. It's going to
Yeah.
help you. Hey, Paul, it's getting that time. I know you have to
yeah,
leave us. Or
I see it already. I really hate to go, but I got to
I
pop out
know,
to another.
got a good meeting to join.
yep.
But we'll
Great to
take
see
care.
you guys. Great to see
All
everybody
right,
in the
Paul.
chat.
All right.
We'll
Later,
talk.
Paul.
We'll talk to you later, Paul.
Later, bud. But Leon said, "Yeah, I make no plans or promises even to myself." And one thing I wanted to I get it. I get it. It is hard to make plans and things like that because you don't know if you can commit to it. But I also want to say on the flip side, I try. Um, I do want to put it on the books because I don't want that to run my life. Because, like you said, Chad, hey, I kind of took a nap today to prepare myself to go out after 7 o'clock. I get it because I don't want to be stuck at home because I have this number above my head thinking, okay, so what? I'm, in my 50s and I can't go out because it's a school night. No, I also, if you prepare yourself and preparation, make those plans. Don't let it run your life. And I'm not trying to harp on that. I just say, you know, be cognitive of that. Maybe not make three of those plans in the same week.
Yeah.
You know, so
But, we
definitely take.
risk management comes to mind a lot with me, just with this whole aging thing and disability. Okay, so all right, I got a choice here. I mean, it's do I do I do this and pay for it? There's a risk management. Hey, okay, if I go do this tonight, let's see, what's tomorrow going to look like? You know what I mean? We're just I'm constantly. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a friend of mine, which a friend of mine used to say it's something cost analysis or something. It's like, is it worth it? It's we're constantly playing this little,
stock market
game.
game. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
playing the stock market. It's so funny. When I have an investor, he's like, "Do you want conservative, or do you want moderate, or do you want to be aggressive?" And you're like, you think with money, well, let's be aggressive because the more aggressive, the more I can take in. But you don't think about the consequences at that time, right? You just think more is better. And in our 20s, more was better. I mean, uh, because it was, especially, before I hit 30 when I met the love of my life. But, um, I was going out every night, paying the price probably in the long run. But now we just have to, I think take that moderate kind of road conservative at times, depending on what we're investing in our life. And yeah, I'm glad you still schedule things. But yeah, if you can't make it, don't beat yourself up. I mean,
Yeah, see, that's hard though. That's a hard piece there where you really want to do it, and then something that's going on with you is stopping you from doing something, and you're mentally all ready to go. It's just that your body is giving you problems. You know, that's frustrating.
well,
But
like
yeah,
when you said, I want to go out, Robert, and you're like, but I just can't eat anything.
Yeah, but I'm out. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm drinking. But the food, you know, the thing is where I'm saying I can't eat anything. I can't eat anything in my diet. I had a really bad diet prior to my digestive issues and things like that.
With
But
I
you know, I
can't eat.
also wonder how. Yeah, but I also wonder how much of that is, you know, your what's is it my disability? Is it aging? Is it both? I'm sure it's both. But I mean, you know, you don't know if it wasn't for my because you know what I've had bowel issues since my day one of injury, you know, and it's been that way. I think I've talked about this over and over again. It's been my issue the whole 52 years. Some type of bowel issue. Not, you know, it's not bad stuff. It's just that it's work. It's a lot of work, you know, to manage that. So, you know,
well, yeah, and
that's
that's the
just
thing too. People don't realize the work. I mean, I'm sure people in our group do, and people who
yeah,
in our community they know. But behind the scenes of all this, there is a behind the scenes of all this. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's
yeah,
work goes into keeping this right here. I mean, we just don't get up and go and take a pee and throw some water on our face and throw your shirt on and go. I mean,
yeah,
it's a process, and so. Yeah, work goes into this. So we have to credit ourselves. And I like those around us at times to give me a pat on the back and just, fuck, I mean, we're working at this, So we talk about the disability part of aging. Well, yeah, this is I don't want to say it's a job, but
it is. It
it
is. You
is.
have to
It's a
do it.
responsibility to keep it moving and going in a positive way, or in a healthy way. What healthy meaning? Keep your keeping your health from being good
Yeah.
that day and for the next. Hell,
Yeah,
we're
and Chad, it's like you've said that before. I think Chad, you might have said it before. You have to be responsible to your disability. You know, I mean, that is a big thing there. I mean, not where it takes over your life, but you know, it's being responsible. I mean, every morning I got friends that go, hey, Clay, we're going to meet this weekend. You know, be there at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm up at 3 getting ready. So, and
Mhm.
you know, I mean, I do it, but you know, in a couple hours for just myself to get ready, and then it's fine. But you know, it's just a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes piece that you know it takes to be somewhere early and you know be ready to go. You know, so that's one thing for me. You know, I mean, I get up early anyway and do my stuff, but um, I don't know. And it's been hard work. It's hard on your body. All these years, your body takes a beating. That's I'm sure everybody understands that piece.
Well, and it's
Yeah,
not. I don't want pity for damn for.
Oh yeah, no pity, no
Hell
pity,
no, I
because
don't
that's
want
our
pity
life.
by any
Yeah, that's
means.
our life.
Yeah.
because disabled or not, it could be your life anyway. I mean, you could have
Yeah,
torn your knee from doing something,
yeah,
uh, or anything like that. You could get the big C. This is just our norm. This is just our norm, and I
yeah,
think we're out
yeah,
here just to let everybody know that you're not alone. Because there's a few things that we already know. We know that you're going to decrease over time, and this is just everybody, but especially with someone with a disability, is strength and reaction time and fine motor skills. We obviously we don't see in the Indy 500 a 65-year-old or a 55-year-old winning. I mean, the only time you see somebody winning a Super Bowl is a Tom Brady. That's a freak that all
and
he
it's
did
40. It's 40.
was 40. Okay, but I'm saying you just don't see that. But you did because what did he do? He did everything to the extreme that 99% of us would have been like, that's a little over the top. And when he won his last Super Bowl, 99% of us would have been like, that's a little over the top. And when he won his last Super Bowl, 99% of us would have been like, that's a little over the top. And when he won his last Super Bowl, 99% of us would have been like, that's a little over the top. And when he won his last Super Bowl, 99% of us would have been like, that's a little over the top. he had one beer, and I think it messed him up, to where he has many many videos of him just smashed, and maybe he had more than one.
Yeah.
But we know
You know what?
that we get increased neurological pain. We get
Yeah.
um, all that stuff. Our motor sensory is off. Our hands hurt more. Our body just is in pain more. We know all that. And
And
that's
we
just
adjust for it,
strange.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
We adjust for it,
Yeah.
just like that athlete that is he's trained, he's at his pinnacle of success in his
And
field,
that's their
whatever it may
job,
be.
and they're getting
Yeah,
compensated for it.
it's kind of like, I noticed that, kind of like, that's really, you can turn that around to us too. I mean, I always say we're champions, and we're champions
Yeah.
the older we get with this
Yeah.
disability. I think the more of a champion we become, because we learn to fine tune it, just like that champion athlete. We learn to do an intake that works for us, right? We do what our body requires to keep it at its top in this condition as we're moving along. And yeah, I think I read somewhere that it's not about losing independence, it's about learning how to keep evolving so you can stay alive. And
Yeah.
I think the more efficient we do that, and the better that we can do that in moving ahead in our age with this disability, hell, the longer we're going to be smiling and having fun and still being able to be healthy. And
Yeah. Yeah.
no, that's
Well,
Plus,
that's
like,
all.
we're all
I
athletes. We're all
go ahead,
athletes
Bobby.
in a point. And Roy said it. I was not good to my body, but here's what
Yeah,
you need to do.
I
Athletes
agree.
adjust, and we're like an athlete to our body. Adjust. All you have to do is pivot and adjust. Sorry, and I know I cut you off, Bob. I
No,
just
I
kind
can.
of one of
Yeah.
my
No,
biggest
I mean,
things.
yeah,
Adjust.
and that's me because I haven't had my life hasn't been exercise. I mean, my exercise was trying to, getting up on the crutches, walking around. That was a big effort, in the wheelchair, pushing and all that stuff. But I didn't take care of my body. I was kept going, doing what I was doing earlier in my life. I was still going out partying. I worked hard and everything, but I was hard on my body, and so that's going to have impact on me. The spinal cord injury is going to have impact on me, and aging is going to have an impact on me. I didn't take care of myself, and right now it's just in my age right now. I'm just starting to be conscious of my diet, of what I can have and what I can't have, and so like I know when Bobby and I went out a few times, I'm limited on what I can eat. So I'll, have a baked potato or something like that. But um, yeah, in my world that my diet, I can't have really much of what I had before. So I'm learning that, and it's a learning effort for me to know about fiber, to know about insoluble fiber, and know about protein, all that stuff. I didn't care about that stuff before. I just ate what I wanted. Now I'm finding out, and that change. Yeah, we all have to change, but that change is hard for me because I'm real finicky eater and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's there's a lot of, I think more impact is mentally, the psychological piece. I mean, I'm fine, I'm happy and all that stuff, but just kind of trying to get through getting older. And I remember my old man told me, because he lived to 89, and he was on the go all the time. My old man had energy forever. Even toward the very end, he still had his set accomplishments and things like that when he passed. And so it's for me, I've set accomplishments and plans and stuff like that. But right now, man, it's just trying to just get through with what's going on now. I'm trying to keep that look at the future, see what I want to do. Yeah, there's things I want to do, but it's
But
just
I'll ask you this, Soto, Alan, Chad, would you have done anything different? Would you have like really, really said, I would have gone out 20, 15% of the time. I would have just done this differently, maybe eat more vegetables for you, Bob.
yeah.
Uh, Chad, would you have really, really?
Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't change anything, but I would include, if I would have worked out just a little bit, because I see a lot of these younger injuries now. They spend time with some type of gym equipment, and all that stuff. I didn't even come close. I lived when I was in Salt Lake City, I lived in a condo, the high rise thing. Right across from me was a gym. I lived there 5 years and never went in there once. It was just across the hall. So, I mean, that's one thing I wish I would have paid attention, but, I was too busy having fun, doing what I wanted to do, and not thinking about my future as aging with my disability. I was fine. What was going on with me currently, I was fine. It's now that you look back in hindsight, oh yeah, if I wouldn't have changed anything, but I would have added, hey, just a little bit of exercise here and there, or workout or something. That's truly what my little regret is, that I didn't do that. But I mean, it's hindsight. So I mean, right now I'm just dealing with what I got to deal, and I pulled it off before. I've always managed to get through. And the thing is now is, as we age, and the thing that gets harder too in terms of our psychology, is asking for help. And I've
Right.
never been good with that, but now there's things that are it gets tough. So that's another stamp saying, no, you're getting older.
Bring someone in and let them help you out. I mean,
Yeah,
surrender to that. That's
yeah,
just
exactly.
and I say at this moment my life is going okay. Well, I go back to just the caregivers and the people that come in, and my assistants that I'm able to hire and show up every day and come and help me do what I've got to do. Without them, I mean, hell, that my world could flip over in a
Yeah,
minutes. Get that call that
yeah,
I'm having to scramble and try to find somebody else and have to work through that all again. But when it's good with that type of thing. But when they can get bad and with that type of stuff either. Also, and just not trying to find and having somebody help you and that cares about you and can get you to you know. So yeah, that's something that I've got some friends that are married, never had anybody come in and help them, and it's kind of they're at that point where it's hey, it's I'm gonna have to go down that road and start exploring that in the future, and what will that look like? And I've always thought, well, I'm happy that that I feel like I'm a jump ahead on that, as far as being able to, because that's it. You're gonna it's a, that there is a learning curve to that, to having to ask for help and having people do things for you. It's a big learning curve. Have them in your home. It's just like holy smokes, yeah,
yeah. But see, again, that's what a lot of people don't realize, that what you said it perfect. What the behind the scenes is all about. There's a lot for us to get out there and to be just part of it. And stuff. And
yeah.
just to answer Jay real quick, it's a Triumph T-shirt, a Triumph Foundation T-shirt.
not the
Yeah,
Okay,
sickle.
sorry.
you were talking earlier, Robert, about the balance between, or you were talking about the mental aspect and the physical aspect. There is a
Yeah,
balance to that, and the balance within that, for me, from what I notice is there is a cycle to that balance, and keeping, it's one with the other. It really is the mental side of aging along with the physical side of this. I feel like the mental side can really carry the physical side. Although, hell, there is the opposite of that too. I
yeah,
mean, at times. So it's kind of it's a flip, other side of the coin. But yeah,
Yeah. Angry Quad said something, train for life.
yeah,
He's talking about fitness, for life, and just the cautious of it. Of you can train, you can be, get into that physically fit. Do it what works best for you. It doesn't have to be hardcore heavy. Get into the weights and make sure that if you're not lifting 20 pounds, it's crap. No, it's not crap. You can get into just physical movement. Movement is key. That's my biggest thing. Movement is key. I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be like a gym. For myself, oh, come on.
oh, hook it down.
Damn. But what I want to, I'm just saying the the part of, doing a physical activity once a day, where it's just could be you or it can be with a group. It could be with our Staying Driven. If you go on the internet, Sean made a lot of videos of exercising, nothing too serious on the body. and I always find that if I can keep that going, you know, because I already know this other stuff is going to happen, that I am going to wear down. My body's going to wear down. The pain is going to be more. The shoulders are going to be a little more sore. I'm going to want to go to bed a little bit earlier. I want to get up a little bit later, even though I don't. Some days I do. Some days, and that's a treat. Treat yourself. That's another thing. Treat yourself. Um, but treat yourself into the good ways, not like the bad ways in the sense. And I'm saying it's okay to, in my fridge, it's been sitting there for 5 days. And the gal who helps me out, she's just like, "Are you kidding? You have a Cheesecake Factory cheesecake cherry with chocolate, and it's still there, like a little bit of it." Yes, because I eat this much one night at a time. That's my treat. It's okay to have a treat. Just don't overdo it. Angry Quad, thanks. Yeah, move. And I wanted to say something. Glad to see your computer working again, Angry Quad. They have a show tomorrow night, East Coast Rollers. Check them out. Him and Rob and Tara. Please check out their channel Thursdays evening. Sorry, Angry Quad, put up the time if you can for me. I think it's around the same time. I think it's 4 o'clock Pacific Standard, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard.
What are they called? The East Coast Rollers?
East Coast Rollers.
Let's go.
Yeah, they support our channel. I want to support their channel.
Yeah, for sure. I think I watched one of the initial shows they had, and Angry Claude was telling the story about how he ended up broken. I thought it was great. Tune in, guys, to his show. Maybe he'll tell it again. It's funny as hell.
What, he was broken or broke?
How he broke his neck.
Oh, how he broke his neck. Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. But anyway,
there's stories out there. There's a lot of them.
There's the time, Bobby. Wednesday.
What's that?
Wednesday, 3:30 for us Pacific time.
Sweet. Okay, so about our time. Yep. Do like the cheesecake, but I don't get it very often. It's a treat.
Hey, let's take this break right now just to get our sponsors in before we can continue to chat. Yeah. Okay, so let's thank our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Contact Mobility Professionals if you are in need of a wheelchair or any other DME equipment. Mobility Professionals is in the Southern California area and services this region. So if you're looking for a company that is part of our community and understands our needs, they're the ones to reach. Their sister company, Urology Professionals, can help you with all your catheter needs. They service nationally, so wherever you're at in the U.S., wherever at in this country, you can get deliveries from them and get catheters and any urology supplies you need. So give them a call, Urology Professionals and Mobility Professionals. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now we can continue our little rants.
Yeah, and as we're getting into that end of the hour, I just wanted to bring this up as something that was laid out ChatGPT with the links from Craig Hospital. And I'm drawing a blank on the other hospital.
Yeah, it was Tier Hospital and Tier Hospital.
And it just here's the mental game. Aging, less function can feel like injury part 2. So that was just something that was said. But also be perspective, more realistic and less tolerance for no nonsense. So thank you. I'm glad you put this up. I found this and I just thought it was funny. This little aging thing, and as he's running up this hill to the peak, his peak function, I just dropped down, and it was like right there in the middle of 20 to 30. I was just like, holy shit, that was like 25 years ago. And it's been all downhill since then. Damn it. But it also shows that split. What movement, keeping fit, the key, watching a little bit of your diet, compared to if you're not. Taking care
See,
of.
that's
It doesn't have to be,
that's me.
it doesn't
Up
have to
until
be,
now.
but it can be also going to see your doctor, regular checkups, regular blood pressure and blood work, all that good stuff. I mean, that's part of it, and watching out for number one, you make what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. The doctor piece, that's big for me going to the doctor. I go to doctors every 3 months for blood work just to keep an eye on my body and just especially now. And then with the medications you take, that what that does to your body as well. The blood
Yeah.
pressure things, the blood sugar, just everything, and just all part as we get older too that it affects us. So yeah, I think it's important to stay in touch with your doctor, and because before I didn't, I'd go only with the doctor when I needed to if I wasn't feeling good. I didn't do annual or regular checkups. Now it's a part of my life.
Yeah,
So
like you
Bobby,
mentioned.
no, go ahead,
Sorry,
Chad.
Bob. Well, like you mentioned with medications, and we don't, over time, those need to be adjusted, or we need to
Oh
take a
yeah,
look at that type of stuff, and yeah, need to be
yeah,
tuned in.
and having a doctor that is familiar with some of these medications and how they affect a person as a spinal cord injury. There's stuff that affects us maybe a little differently, affects our our bladder or bowel, whatever, and not just the heart and kidneys and things like that. So they kind of got to be aware, a little aware. But I don't know. Some of these. I know that article that you put out with that, was it the tier um,
The tier one.
report? Yeah, how they're doing research and stuff like that. But see, there's a lot of things that I talk to doctors about, and they go, well, this. They kind of give their idea, but they're not for sure because there hasn't been certain studies done. So it's nice to see that there's studies starting to happen. You know,
Yeah.
um, regarding the aging piece, it's just nice because there's lots of times the doctors say, well, there's not enough studies.
Well, and how we're living longer, because of
Yeah,
technology and
there you
because
go. There you
of,
go.
of these
Yeah.
studies, we're able to live longer, and so it's good to see. I mean, hell, I want to live. I want to live longer. I'm feeling
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. What the
yeah,
hell? It
yeah.
is
Well,
what
and
it is.
Well,
as you go along, here's what you do: is you're your own doctor in a way. Look up the studies. Look up what's right for you. And if you're not curious, that's when, yeah, what do you think? Because this is what I've looked up. Because you're right. Far few and doctors know about anyone with a certain type of disability, if it's CP or, if it's this or that, or spinal cord. Um, it is throw the darts, and I think that
yeah,
goes if you don't have a disability in some ways at times. At times there's good doctors out there, but the one is you bring in the research, just like, look this over, tell me what you think. This is my idea of how I feel, but what do you think? If you have a doctor that's going to poo-poo it and you don't
yeah.
feel comfortable with that, then maybe that's not your doctor.
Get you another one. They're out there.
Yeah. Leon, glad you found a little spot. Those are always great to find down the Mississippi River. Accessible, I think you said accessible park. Yeah, right along the Mississippi River. My treat was taking a couple of days to explore the river in the sun. Yeah, we got the beach. Jets on my peaceful area,
Yeah,
and that's what.
you got a great running spot over there, Bobby. It's good
Yeah.
stuff.
So definitely find that for yourself. Listen to your body as you age, with a disability, with a spinal cord injury, with CP, MS, whatever it may be out there. Do your research. You're not alone. We all have that decrease. I don't care if you have a disability or not, but just know that it does catch up a little bit quicker. It can catch you off guard. Watch your skin, watch your bladder functions, your bowel functions, and adjust. As we said, athletes adjust. Think of yourself as an athlete with your disability, because nobody knows you better than you.
Yes. Yeah, and be your own advocate. Yes,
Yeah,
know your
definitely.
body. Know what works
Yep.
for you. Know what doesn't. I mean,
And
be
if you
tuned.
are in the And if you are in the hospital or a doctor or something, you direct your care. Make sure you direct
Yes,
your own care. Yep.
because yeah, you're your best advocate. You've got to live in this body, so hell, advocate
Yeah.
for it and get what you
You know
need.
your body. You know your body, what it does, and it's making sure that you know when you present it when you're talking to people like nurses or whatever that may not understand. You got to force that point across. You know,
Mm.
we're
Yeah,
living it.
we're living it, and in do and I think there is a way to go about that too. We don't want a bad
Yeah,
name. You know what I
yeah,
mean? There's let's do it without blame, shame, or criticism,
yeah.
and be able to
Do it with
communicate.
do it with diplomacy. You got to be, you got to be the nice guy at the hospital, even though it's hard as it gets to be because you're so frustrated sometimes because you're
Yeah.
waiting. But you have to you have to present it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well, to wrap this up, Robert, you are wearing a Triumph Foundation for anybody here in the Southern California and watching this a little bit later tomorrow or even Saturday. It's Saturday and Sunday. Head out to Santa Clarita for our annual sports festival. Even if you're not signed up, look on triumphfoundation.org for the information. Don't worry, it's never too late to just come out and show up. Should be perfect weather, a little bit cooler. I will not be there on Saturday. Unfortunately, I have to clean out my dad's place, but maybe on Sunday. We'll see. I'm taking care of my body.
yes. Hmm.
Yep, yep, yep,
And
Good.
yep.
are you going to be there, Robert?
I'm planning on it. I'm planning on it. And again, depending on what the weather is, because they're saying a chance of rain there. I'm not sure how much it's going to be because I know it couldn't
That's
be any
more
worse than that. Couldn't be any worse than that one year. Was it last year or something?
like
Driving there, and it was just
and as
pouring.
it's raining, I fell in the rain too. Damn it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Um,
Bobby,
So
did
yeah,
you ever
no,
do push the pier?
yeah, we did.
that's
We did.
coming up. That's coming up.
How'd
That's
that
coming up.
go?
What's the second?
Well, we had a great time. We had our
That's awesome.
sidewalk blocked again and beautiful people to come and help us scoop it out even quicker this time. So,
And when is
um,
that? That's the second, right? The next one is the second,
not
right?
this weekend,
May,
next week.
yeah, May 2nd. Push to the pier if anybody's local here that want to get
Fly
out and
out, Jack. We're
yep,
waiting for you.
couple mile
Man,
minimum of a couple mile push.
so Bobby, you do that pretty. So that's a once a month kind of thing you organize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's good stuff. Shit, I'm gonna have to get out there for that. I'd like to go out there for that.
And it doesn't matter. I know, Leon, you said it a couple times. You try to put these events on and you don't get anybody to show. Keep going. We don't get, we used to get a lot at the beginning and then it's kind of petered, petered down to five, four, maybe sometimes six or eight. But it doesn't matter. It's for you and
Yeah.
for that one
yeah,
person that might show up. That's all I
yeah,
care about. If that one person shows up, hey, I'm happy. And if it's
yeah.
just Robert and Robert and I hanging out, that even makes it just as
Yep.
sweet.
We,
Even
we
though
still have lunch. We still do lunch after. Go on
we
down
do
to the
lunch and we
harbor.
talk about a finger up the ass or a BP and a bladder infection, it doesn't matter. So as we did it one time and we were all looking around each other going, what the hell? We're adults here. What are we doing talking about this crap? But it's real. And so enjoy life.
Yeah,
Look into that Mississippi walkway into something. That's it. Just it takes one person to change. It takes you one time to change a person's life.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super good.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's that saying, "Don't count the days, make the days count." So
Yep.
I like it. That's cool. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, I often think, hell, with as old as I am and with the spinal cord injury, fuck. Hey, come on. I got, I got this. Come on. What do you know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, this one here, I'm trying to, yeah. Hey, you want to play? You want to come on? I got this. I can. So yeah, it's good stuff. I like it. It's what it is, and at this moment, hell, I wouldn't change it. It's just
You go.
it's So we'll take it to the grave, right? That's where we're at.
Yep.
We're gonna
Survivors.
run
We
it.
survived this long, man. Survivors. I'm not looking back.
Hell
That
no.
windshield is big because of the foot moving forward. That rear view mirror is small because you don't need to see behind you.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Good stuff.
All right. You want to wrap us
All
up
right.
here, Robert?
Right on. All right, you guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Uh, don't forget Bobby and um, Sean on Tuesday, and we'll be back in a couple weeks. So we'll see you guys all later. Live to roll.
Live to roll.
Roll.